So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 12 common mistakes that investors make when buying and building a UK property portfolio. My name's Liam Ryan and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for being here. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe and the notification bell right now. And please leave me a comment and also like the video. So common mistake number one is not actually knowing why you want to be a property investor, what are your objections, and what is your ultimate goal. So what are you looking for as a property investor? Do you want to make big lumps of cash? Do you want to actually own the asset and create legacy and wealth for your future? Are you looking to get involved with deal packaging where you can just buy and sell property deals? Do you want to get involved and look for an income replacing strategy? You've got to have a really good understanding of why you've made the decision to become a property investor. And without knowing what you want to achieve, you're just going to end up running around like a blue-ass fly or a headless chicken, not really getting anywhere. Now, most of the people that I train in property, and maybe you can relate to this, are looking for an income replacing strategy. And maybe you're in a position where you're working far too many hours, you're grinding it out, you're being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and you're at a bit of a crossroads in your life and you want something bigger and you want something better. So take some time out to write down some goals and what is your outcome as a result of starting out in property. This is really going to help you get some clarity and get some direction. Point number two, big mistake is investing away from where you live. Now, there are caveats to this. You can live in the south and invest in the north and vice versa. But I see a lot of investors try what we call the scattergun approach. And they buy a deal in the southeast, and then they buy a deal in the northeast, and then they buy a deal in central London. And before you know it, you've got all of these properties scattered gun all around the UK. And they're very hard to manage. And one minute you're in Newcastle, and then the next minute you're needed down in Essex. So my recommendation is to invest within 60 minutes of where you currently live. There is a property strategy that is working right now in your area. Point number three, people wait too long before they put in their offers. Don't overthink the process. Find deals, analyze those deals. If it's a good deal and the computer says yes and the numbers kick out a positive return and you've done your research, you've done your due diligence, then just go for it. Put in the offer and keep your fingers crossed. Big mistake number four is saving up for deposit pots the old-fashioned way. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there's many ways in property that you can get really creative when it comes to using investor funds and other creative ways of raising joint venture finance. My first investor was a guy called Dave, and he invested £5,000 into one of my first ever property deals here in the UK. My next investor, £250,000. If you are working even harder, you're getting a second job, you're doing more hours, you think that by getting a second or third business up and running is going to get you towards your goals, then hey, look, you'll get there eventually, but it's going to be very slow and very painful. There's much faster ways of using other people's money to build your property portfolio. The old traditional way of working harder, working longer, doesn't work anymore. You can build something a lot quicker. Common mistake number five is also rushing and buying something just because you want to get a property deal over the line. As much as you don't want to take too long, you don't want to rush also. You want to make sure that it's a good deal, in a good area. So yes, be keen to go out there and get property deals, but just don't buy something or control something just because you want to get a deal over the line. Big mistake number 6 is overpaying for your properties. And when you start putting in your offers, you need to be feeling like a little bit like, oh, that might have been a bit of a cheeky offer. Offer low. Obviously you don't want to offend the agent or offend the vendor, but hey, you've got to get out there and try and get the best deal that you can possibly get at the beginning. So don't overpay for the property. Remember, you make your money when you buy at the start, and you want to try and get below market value deals. I recently just purchased a property here in Essex, 320,000. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go in. I went in at 240,000 and we agreed at 250. That's 20% below market value. The 7th biggest common mistake that I see happen all the time is you don't charge the correct rent. You're either trying to charge too much or you charge too little. What you need to do is charge the appropriate rent for the appropriate property in the appropriate area. So make sure you do your market research. Have a look at rental comparables in the area. Now you want to make sure that you're charging maximum rent as long as you're providing maximum service. So go above and beyond for your tenants, give them a really good experience, and don't charge them or do anything that you wouldn't do yourself. So that's a really key point. Make sure you're charging the right rent. Point number 8. Now this is really important. I wrote this down earlier today. Point number 8 is not looking at your numbers correctly and buying purely on emotion just because you love the house. It is so important that when you do the deal analysis, and I actually teach this at my events, and this is why people come and spend time with me, because at my event we do a whole section on deal analysis. I teach you how to work out return on investment, we look at the yield, and we look at the market, and we show you how to work out comparables. You want to make sure that there's enough cash flow at the end of the month, and you want to make sure that this deal stacks up, and you want to make sure that this is a deal that's going to give you constant cash flow and also something that's going to go up in value over a period of time. Big mistake number 9 is getting your refurbishment costs incorrect at the start. Now, it's really important that you spend time on this part of the process. So get yourself out and go and get 3, 4, if not 5 different quotations from your builders. Make sure you're looking at every part of the refurbishment line by line, item by item. And where possible, try and reduce the price of every single item in the refurbishment, because the last thing you want to do is go and do a refurb, you're out by 20 or 30%, and then that kicks out all your profit, or you're not able to recycle all of your cash back, or the return on capital employed decreases. So that's really important. Number 10 is not understanding the area at which you're investing. So you don't want to just rush and think, well, hey, look, I've heard Manchester's good, so I'll go and invest in Manchester, or Newcastle's good because you can get cheap property in Newcastle. You want to make sure you spend some time, days, weeks in that area. Understand the infrastructure. Understand what companies are moving in and moving out of the area. Go and walk the streets, because you get some areas where the left side of the road is a good place to invest, and the right side of the road, you wouldn't touch it even if you got a house for free. So it's really important to become really intimate with your local areas. Big mistake number 11 is getting the wrong mortgage and the wrong tax advice. So I really recommend that you use professional people to go and do this work for you. We have a fantastic power team here at Assets for Life. Many of my graduates, people that I've personally trained, they use my power team, which is important because they've been tried and tested now for many, many years. But you don't want to go and walk down the high street and go into all the local high street banks. You want to use a great broker that's going to search the market for you. So one of my brokers, David Tonks, he's got 144 lenders on the books. And you'll give David a call and you say, hey David, this is what I'm looking for. These are my objectives. This is what I'm hoping to make in the deal. This is what I believe the property is valued for now. This is what I believe it's going to be valued when we add value. This is the rent roll. And the broker will give you the best piece of advice and they will go out and search the market for you. The same when it comes to tax advice. Now, hey, look, we're in the UK. I actually love paying taxes because if you're paying taxes, it means that you're making more money. But of course, you don't want to pay unnecessary tax. So you want to make sure that you are structuring the deal correctly right at the beginning. Now, in almost all cases, and you do have to check this out, in almost all cases, you're going to want to be buying property in the UK at this current stage in a limited company, which means you can offset your interest mortgage payments against your tax. Section 24 has come into play into the UK, and since Section 24 was in play, you want to be buying in limited companies. Now, big mistake number 12, and this is the biggest, people start and then they give up. The only time becoming a professional property investor, becoming financially free, generating big cash flow and big lumps of cash through property will not work for you is if you give up. Now, I'm here to be honest with you. Yes, like all businesses, there's going to be some bumps in the road. But actually, when you follow a simple system like the property freedom formula, this is my 7-step system, 7 simple steps to follow. When you follow that system, you can start, scale, and grow a property business. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your current situation is like. Property has no barrier to entry and it's available to every single one of you. I love business, I love property, I love to work with people just like you. I'm really rooting for you in 2020. So if you avoid these 12 pitfalls, you are going to be well on your way to becoming financially free and making a serious amount of cash over the next 1 or 2 years. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hey, look, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Please hit the like, hey, and watch more of my videos, and I'll see you very soon.